Hello, everyone. How are you? Hello. Just checking I'm live. I should be live any minute. Hmm. Hmm. Hello to everyone there. Yes, you should all be able to hear me or see me. You'll be glad to know I am on time, as Nihilist Lives Matter says here. Are you going to be punctual this time? Yes. What do you think I am? British Rail? A master of disguise. Oh, that's old David. Good old David. Hey. They seek him here, they seek him there. Those French are seeking everywhere. David Jones, bring it on, yeah. Hello, Popcorn Boxing. Hello, Rick Horden, Tor Engen, Israel Diego Rivera to the real genius. Genius to the real genius. And I've put some comments here. Hugo Rune. Let's check. I'm ready. I have cannabis. Check. Tobacco. Check. Papers. Check. Beer. Check. I'm ready to skin up and fill my tin while watching this. Tin with two ends, of course. Absolutely, yeah. Need all those things, don't you? Tor Engen is after some slightly milder refreshment. Need to fix some coffee. Oh, coffins. Oh, dear. Hello, Welsh Rip. How you doing? Noswaida. Joe Glover. Hi, Ben. Joe Glover, UFO bro. I'm not bad, thanks. How are you? We have Trick Popcorn Boxing on time for Tricky Woo. Tricky Woo, hello. How are you? And Lisa Cry Freedom. Hey, Lisa. Good evening, madam. How are you? And Jay Hobson. How are you, my friends? Are you all right? I think we've got a few people. Just wait for a few more people to gather. Now, I'll give you a bit of background to this. Excuse me. This is unusual. Hello, Vrillon Aura. Hello, Vrillon Aura. Hello, Cloppites. Hello, Bernie Tucker. Hello, Sega Saturn. How are you all? Welcome. To give you a bit of background, and we have here all Kim Panda. Kimmy Panda 95XX. Hello, Kimmy Panda. How are you? Now, to give you a bit of background, this is a very, very unusual project for me. Not least, as I explained in the blurb, this is one of the most popular videos I've made in years. It's also one I'm particularly proud of. And, yeah, it's 69 Phuket. What's OLM? Outer Limits Magazine. Love this. Rick Horn says, lovely to see David with you, Ben, keeping a watchful eye. Yes, he is. He's right behind me there. There he is. Looking over my shoulder. Yeah, it turned out to be one of my most successful projects ever. I mean, it was certainly the most popular video of 2022. It's very, very controversial. I lost probably 3 or 4 friends as a result of making the video. I gained a couple as well, which is nice. And probably the ones I lost are again, probably they're never friends to begin with. And the ones I gained, well, that's a bonus, isn't it? Nihilist says, that mannequin behind you is creepy AF. David Jones is a real person. He's not a mannequin. Oh. So what I did was I did something rather unusual. I put up a community notice announcing that I was going to. I was considering making this video, which is I don't often do actually. I don't often do this. I put up a notice saying idea for a video controversial. A live stream to mark the first anniversary of my infiltration of the 2022 Outer Limits magazine conference. It wouldn't be nasty, no attacking people. I'd like it to be light-hearted, good or bad. I have 43 comments, almost entirely positive. Very few people, only a handful of people were against it. Now, I don't often sort of like I don't often survey my viewership in that way. I often just make videos and you can take them or leave them. But I thought I would just check. Oh, just the epitome of vlogs. I really enjoyed it. I was very pleased I did it. I felt when I uploaded it, I felt a sense of satisfaction. The ones we lose, we're only experience anyway, right? Yeah, that's it, Lisa. I mean, that's it. David Jones was still wearing his face nappy. Oh, you can't expect him to risk his health, can you? Risk his health? I might catch something. The sun will get on me. Lovely face, nappy, and shades. He was suited him perfectly. David is photophobic. He can't. This is why he wears the gloves as well. He can't allow bright light to actually touch his skin, which also, incidentally, as a side effect, means he can't show his features to people. Which means, it means he could go into the conference and disguise his features so people don't know who's really under there. Convenient, isn't it? So, yeah, I decided, I don't know, I mean, I think I'd have probably done this anyway, even if, it's even despite Lisa says, I have to confess to watching the Corona Shon. That's a good one, Lisa. Concert today for a change. It was very high vibe and love, all good energy. End of a movie, perhaps. Yeah, they've got this amazing stage. You posted a picture of this stage, and from the angle it's filmed at, it looks as if there's something hovering above Buckingham Palace or wherever it was, Windsor Castle or wherever it was. To me, it looked like a Project Bluebeam projection. Is he a mogwai? Yes, that's right. I had to be careful not to feed him after dark. That's probably Eurovision warm-up. Oh, course, not. We paid for it, I bet. I'll be honest, right? I did not. Bet anyone for this. Only one person knew I was doing this. Donna Wellham, hello. I allowed I let one person in on the secret that I was doing this. I mean, this wasn't because I couldn't trust other people. It's just I thought that the security of this operation was absolutely essential. You know, just if one word got to the organizers or other delegates or speakers, my cover would be blown. So this is why I kept it from everyone. If you remember, I even spread a bit of disinformation by telling you. Well, we'll go because I'm actually going to screen this video in a minute, and we'll go through it frame by frame. We'll do a deep dive onto the actual video. But I did say at the time that I told one person, because one person was giving me on the ground intelligence. This is a person who has access to the various people, the various principal figures among the speakers and other attendees and organizers, watching their social media output just to see if anyone was talking about the strange guy with the sticks and the sunglasses and the coof mask and the sun hat. Nobody did. Nobody mentioned me. No, not a single person commented at all until after I uploaded my video. And because then everyone was all over social media. Everyone was there going, yes, we knew it was Ben all along. Yeah, we knew. As I predicted they would. Anyway, I mean, there's the best way, I think, to deal with this particular subject. I was thinking, how am I going to go through this subject? The best way, I think, is to screen the film, and you guys can watch it. And I'll stop it at certain points and make some commentary. I'll also stop it and answer some of your comments as well as they come up. So, no further ado, let's watch. Hang on, I'll put it on share screen. That's it. If anyone can't see this, let me know. We're going to watch A Person Goes to OLM. If anyone can't see or hear this, let me know. Oops. Hello, nothing as it seems. Welcome. How are you, Olmsted? Where's that?
Hospital Porters, Pride and Dignity, Stop the New World Order. Welcome to Panmo TV. I'm on York Station here, and I'm heading for Hull. The reason I'm heading for Hull,
This was literally, right, I mean, those of you who saw my film York, I literally shot this opening scene from... from A Person Goes to OLM. Literally, the moment after I finished the York video, I filmed the outro for the York one, and I immediately moved on to this. I wasn't going to cross them over. I didn't want to get them mixed up because I uploaded this one before the York video.
A little bit furtive. I'm actually going to the Outer Limits magazine conference. Let me just show you.
And so this is the event I'm going to gate crash. Did I say gate crash? I mean attend. Yes, this is the Outer Limits Magazine Conference 2022. It's been delayed.
Nihilist Lives Matters asking me why I chose that theme music. It's by someone called Chris Zabriskie, who I always credit. You can use his music freely with an attribution license. I tend to use that music for subjects videos about skeptics and the skeptic movement, but also generally anything where I'm being a bit lighthearted and I'm taking the mickey slightly. So this is why I chose that theme tune. You'll notice I chose it for the one with David Jones the other day as well.
Delayed by 2 years because of the pandemic, and it's finally happening. Speakers, interesting set of speakers here. Mike Covell, local man. Paul Askoff. He's into quite interesting stuff to do with dogmen and things like that. Paul Sinclair, of course, Bempton phenomenon. Sasha Christie, experiencer, and she's got someone to back her up this time, Steve Midgley. I've got my problems with her personally, but I'm still going to listen to what she has to say. Colin Saunders, yes, a guy who had an encounter with a flying triangle. The Kinsella twins, Ronald and Philip, of course. Peter Robbins. Peter Robbins is actually a triple bill. He seems to be their keynote speaker, and he's actually going to do 3 separate talks, one on Saturday evening, 2 on Sunday, 1 in the morning, and 1 to close. And Malcolm Robinson of the Scottish Paranormal Investigation. Yeah. So,
as you know, if you've watched my Lapis video, Malcolm and I have made up. We're friends again, which is nice. I'm pleased about that. Our issue was personal. I won't go into details because it was something that went through personally. But we were we of course did fall out and got back together. Pat Riot, was it OLM who were justified and ancient? That's the KLF, mate.
Should be good. I'm looking forward to it. So let's get going.
It's all quite easy. I'm filming here on the station, and I can sort of walk around like this, just being myself. But as I get closer to Hull, I'm going to have to take steps to be a little bit inconspicuous. I mustn't be too obtrusive for reasons that will become clear to you. But I'm going to get on the train at the moment. I think I'm pretty safe here, but I'm going to have to be just.
Rick Horden says he's seen flying triangles. Oh, blimey. Well, Colin Saunders, I mean, he was a speaker there. You know, he saw one really up close, as you know, if you're familiar with his work. What's I going to say? Yeah, this is kind of a watch party, isn't it? Yeah, I've just realised that it's a watch party. I could call it that, but it is a live stream. So your watch parties, I do sort of in series.
I'll just have to be a little bit careful as I get closer, because basically nobody must know I'm going to Hull right now. So I'm on the train now. I'm going to head for Hull.
I wasn't sure when to go undercover, actually. I chose during the... It is a watch party, Lisa, yes. During the journey, I had a look around me. If I'd seen someone I'd known at that point, you see, I think I could have kind of bluffed my way out by saying, but I didn't see anyone I knew in York, and I knew that most people going to OLM wouldn't be going via York, so I thought I was pretty safe on this train just being myself. But during the journey, as you'll see, is when it's during the journey I actually go undercover. I went into the toilet and basically put on my initial disguise, which you'll see in a minute, for the journey between. This is the disguise I used between the hotel and the station. The David Jones disguise I used while I was there, but I needed another disguise to get me between the station and the hotel. I couldn't go as David Jones between the station and the hotel. Really, it would have been a bit more difficult because then. I think it may have raised some eyebrows. There we are. I look like the anti-terrorist. Who remembers the anti-terrorist? I don't care what you do, just don't speak to the police. If you're with them, just stay quiet, keep your mouth shut. He's not your friend. He's your adversary. He's not your enemy necessarily, but he's your adversary. Just say no comment. Yeah, the good old anti-terrorist. Yeah, I was incognito at this point. Nothing. Yeah, and you may notice I am using these are David Jones's sunglasses. I have one pair of sunglasses only. and my own hat. So I put the hat round backwards so it looked different. I thought I was pretty safe enough there.
Taking steps to hide my identity.
Respect my authority. I was trying to get a shot of the bridge at this point because you can just see the bridge, and the famous bridge, one of the world's largest bridges, can be found near Hull, and the Humber Road Bridge. And I couldn't quite get a good shot of it, but I tried.
Look, I've arrived. I'm in hostile territory now.
Go away. Don't want that
I'm going
thing.
to move quickly. I'm going to move discreetly, swiftly.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you have now spotted the first continuity error in this particular production. This bit I made. I decided I needed an extra shot, really, of me getting off the train. But of course, by then I'd got off the train. I couldn't really go back, so I decided to do an extra shot on the morning I left with the GoPro. I was actually filming this with both the GoPro and my Sony camcorder, which is now broken. I'm getting a new one soon. By the way, the railway, it is an old railway car, but the seats, someone says, are from the 90s, and that's true. It has the upholstery and seats and things are newer. You may notice different seats on this one because it's a different train, because this was shot on the Monday morning when I was going home. Continuity error, yes. Emerging from the Bemlyn chrysalis, says Rick Horden, yeah. So, I mean, I'm not really disguising this. You could tell by the quality this is with the GoPro, yeah. Lisa asked me, how did you find mask wearing, Ben? Was it uncomfortable breathing back your own CO2? I have to ask. Yes, Lisa, it was. It was necessary for my disguise, but I didn't like it. It was very uncomfortable. Luckily, it's not something I make a habit of. I threw those masks away when I left the hotel. I left them in the hotel in the bin. I took the GoPro with me to the venue, and of course I didn't do a lot of filming at the venue, as you'll see, because that's just too Ben-like. I took a couple of brief shots at the venue, and I didn't take my camcorder because people could recognize it. Hello, Stephen Truthseeker, welcome. Okay, we're back. This is a succeeding shot from the one before last, so I inserted that Monday morning shot into this one. And if you're a movie geek, we don't have to be really. You could see that this is basically this is the shot after that, and the previous shot was filmed at a different time, which it was.
I'm in hostile territory now. I'm going swiftly, I'm going discreetly. Into the hotel. Work out which way I'm going first. I've made it to the hotel. Thanks for that. What a relief. Thank you. Right, well, I made it. I'm in the hotel. I'm at the Travelodge in Hull, and it's about 5:30 in the evening, and there's now literally nothing I can do except wait. Now, normally at this point, I'd be going out on the town. I'd be going to a pub, going around, see if I could meet other people from the conference, looking out for friends and things like that. I can't do that this time. I can't do that. In fact, when I was walking from the station to the hotel, which is just a short walk, it's about a 5-minute walk, with my little disguise on, sunglasses and the poof mask, because the only time you're going to get me you'll see me wearing one of those, I can tell you. I was looking around very carefully, hoping I wouldn't see anyone I knew. I don't want anyone who knows me to see me, and if they do see me, they must not recognize me, because it's absolutely essential that no one knows that I'm in town. So I'm going to have to keep a very low profile. My original plan was to, just stay in the hotel, use the bar and the dining room downstairs. But then I suddenly realised that I can't even do that because.
No, this was. I think this was a Travelodge. Nihilist Lives Matter. Nihilist Lives Matter thinks that can't you afford the Premier Inn? You're so much nicer than a Travelodge. It is, and indeed, I stayed at a Premier Inn, if you remember, in Warrington when I went to Weird Weekend North. But this was a Travelodge. I had 3 nights in the Travelodge in Hull. It's actually where I stayed when I went to the ArcCon. Do you remember ArcCon? Was it not ArcCon? RawCon. Yeah, that was the last conference for the lockdown where I spoke. Yeah.
It's quite likely that some of the conference guests are going to be staying here. Now, there is a hotel near the conference, which I hear they're using for the speakers. No doubt some of the guests will be there. Now, once some of the delegates are going to be there. However, it's too small for all of them. So some of the delegates are going to be looking for other locations, and there's no doubt, I would think, that at least some of the people who are going to attend.
Thanks, Rick Horden. Rick Horden says this is the best watch stream ever. Oh, thanks, Rick Horden. Glad you're enjoying it.
This conference are in this hotel, the Travelodge in Hull. If they see me in the bar or they see me in the dining room, having a meal, then boom, my cover is blown. It's absolutely important that it's absolutely essential that no one knows I'm in town right now, which means I'm going to have to stay in this room until tomorrow morning. Yeah, I am. I've got I went shopping, I got some food. Sandwiches.
I must point out there was a bit of culture shock here because literally just a few hours before I was filming this, I was going around York with Lily Brunton and getting really kind of getting very, very sort of overstimulated in my mind and going through all this history and the amazing the symbolism, the architecture, the spirituality, and all the things we were talking about in that York video. And literally, I go straight to Hull. I say goodbye to Lily, go straight to York Station, and then suddenly I'm thrust into this very different kind of environment, making a very, very different kind of video. One which is very grounded, very hyper grounded, I would say, and very, very alarming. It was very worrying, I'd say, as you could see as you go through this. I mean, this is just things worked out. Luckily, things were successful, but it might not have been. I didn't know how these people would react if I was exposed. Stephen says, do you wake up in the middle of the night at these places and wonder why? Yes. I actually did hear, Stephen, as you'll see if you've not watched this.
From Sainsbury's. I got 3 of those sandwiches, actually. What's this one? Free range egg and cress. Yeah, and I've got my book to read, The Uninvited, and I've got quite a lot of audio on my little audio player, so I can keep myself entertained. It's going to be a bit of a drag. I'm not used to being cooped up like this, but that's the only thing I can do really until tomorrow morning. Same, I think, Saturday.
Nothing it seems is going to Hull. Well, have a good time. Nothing. Have a good time.
Same Saturday night, and assuming that I'm still here. You see, I am going to the Outer Limits magazine conference. Now, you maybe say, what, Ben? You said you weren't. You said you weren't. I know, I've kept it from you. I've been keeping a few secrets from you the last couple of months. You see, I managed to get hold of something. I managed to get hold of a ticket. Never mind how.
Yeah, Nihilist Lives Matter. Why do you think I always wear a hat? My tan line, yeah. You can't really see it this time of year. In the summer, you can.
But I managed to get hold of a ticket. Now, I know it says here, the 4th encounter, OLM 2021, 21st and 22nd of August, but it is valid. I mean, it's the organisers written on the back. It was valid for this particular conference because of it was cancelled because of the bloody lockdown, wasn't it? So yeah, I've managed to get hold of a ticket, so I can go to the conference, or can I? Because, of course, I told you the story, didn't I? I told you the story before about how I wanted to go to the conference, so I wrote off. I wrote off for some tickets. I actually wrote off, and because before you could order the tickets online in the usual way. Now you had to actually write in and send an email to the organizer, and they'd sort it out through bank transfer. Probably maybe I'm a bit over cynical now. This was probably to avoid the very situation I was in before when I was banned from the first conference.
Yeah, I didn't. Maybe what happened was that I actually did purchase a ticket for the first one, and the organizer returned it and asked me not to attend, which is what inspired me to do this. Now, I don't want to. I should have pointed this out at the beginning. I don't. This is not going to be. I'm not going to make this a bitter, angry, recriminatory live stream. I want this to be a fun, light-hearted live stream. I don't feel angry. I don't feel bitter, and I don't feel any need for recriminations or reparations or anything like that. I think as soon as I did this video, actually, I felt better about the whole situation. I felt that justice had been done. I felt in a sense that I had redeemed myself. The people who I think did me wrong, I think received their just desserts. I essentially gave them what they deserved, and so I think they've done their time, quite frankly. And so I don't want this to be a recriminatory live stream or dwelling on unpleasant past memories. Revenge is a dish best served warm, I say. And but you see, I did notice the difference this time. The fact that for some reason, the organisers decided not to just allow people to purchase tickets. You had to write to them, and they would send you an invoice, and that's how they'd sort it out by bank transfer. Because that means they couldn't really ban you. They wouldn't have to ban you. All they had to do if they didn't want someone there is not send them an invoice. And after writing to the organizer twice by email and once by Facebook, I received no reply. I know that Charles Scott has different ideas about this. Well, go away. I know Charles Scott has different ideas about this, and he's no doubt going to fill. If he doesn't even turn up in the live chat, he's going to fill the underneath of this video with his own comments, which I will not read or read out, because basically to say this has been done to death is an exaggeration, is a gross understatement. But Donna Wellham is asking if there's an OLM conference this year. Yes, there is. Yes, there is, and someone actually wrote to me and asked me if I'm going from the team, which is very nice of them. I don't feel any need. As I said, I don't feel any need to dwell on this and to feel resentful about this at all. I don't think I'm going to go because I've got other things to go to, but otherwise I would. But to me, when I didn't get 2 replies, I thought, this is. When I looked at the speakers list, I thought, yeah, this is the situation continues. As you know, that there were people there, especially people on the stage who I'm not their favourite person and they're not mine. So it's pretty obvious. To me, I worked out exactly what the deal was here, and so this is when I came up with the idea of getting a ticket through rather less legitimate means, shall we say, bypassing the sales structure what the organisers had, and going there in disguise.
That is, so to keep undesirables away. So I wrote off and I asked if I asked for a ticket. They say, write to this address, we'll be in touch, and then we'll sort it out through bank transfer. So I wrote off to the saying, I can pay through PayPal. Here's, could I have a ticket for the whole weekend, please? Just one adult ticket for the whole weekend.
I know, by the way, the organizer claiming they did reply to me. Well, I never received any reply, and the organizer, he's on my contacts list on my email. It wouldn't have gone to the spam folder.
No reply. I wrote off again. Could I please have a ticket for the whole weekend? No reply. I wrote off a 3rd time. I said, and this time I actually addressed Chris Evers personally. I said, Chris, could I please have a ticket for the whole weekend? No reply. They didn't write back and say, oh, sorry, Ben, you're banned. I think is disrespectful. It'd be nice if they had. Maybe he's concerned that I'll go, I'll get together with Tina and make another video about it. But, I don't think we would make another video about it because it's kind of old hat.
Yeah, I did when I was banned from the first conference, I actually wrote an article basically protesting about the way I've been treated. And Tino Magaro and I got together. That's ZXR Alien Warrior on YouTube. And we made a video about it. Yeah. Can't you take a hint, Ben? Says Cece. Yes.
I was taking a hint. Yes, that's the point.
But obviously, you know, I wanted to go to the conference, and no one was replying to my emails requesting a ticket. So kind of I think that's it. Elbow in the ribs. That's a hint, Ben. You're banned. We don't want you. It was not. I mean, they never actually said they didn't want me. They just said we feel that your presence or good order could not be maintained if you were present. Well, yeah. So that was upsetting. You see, I've never caused any trouble at a conference before. Never. I've loved going to conferences, and I've always enjoyed. I've been very, very respectful and well behaved all the time I've been there. I've never ever caused any trouble ever in all the time I've been going to conferences. And I've been going to UFO paranormal conspiracy theory conferences since 2006, October 2006, when I went to my first probe conference. If there is any criticism you could make of me,
Hello, Tolkien Study. Welcome.
actually, at UFO paranormal conspiratorial conferences.
Crowley. Do I look like Alistair Crowley? I suppose I do a bit there, don't I? I should have worn my hat.
The one criticism I think you could possibly make of me is that if anything, I get a bit manic. I've said it before, conference fever. I get conference fever, and it goes to my head a little bit. I can start acting in a bit of a manic way. I can be a bit. Some people find that a bit overbearing, and that's, I think, is the only criticism you could really make of me, and it hardly warrants being banned.
Hello, Nocturnal Frequency Radio. How are you?
Had I been allowed to go to this conference, and indeed if I'm allowed to go to this one, then, you know, there's absolutely no way on earth I'm going to cause any trouble. I'm going to be very well behaved, as I always am. I just want to go along and enjoy the...
Thanks, CCG. Yeah, the Dankula, Count Dankula. I enjoyed doing that video.
Conference. And that's why I've managed to obtain this ticket. Even though I couldn't buy one directly, I've managed to wangle one through other means. And so I'm going to go. And you might say, well, Ben, but you can't go. If you're banned, they won't let you in. They won't let you in because you're banned. They won't let you in. They'll just say, go away when you turn up at the door. Well, that's true. I am banned, and I probably would be turned away from the door because I'm not allowed in. However, I know a man who is not. Allow me to introduce you to a friend of mine.
Here he comes. It's David. You look fine, David.
Hello, everybody.
You may have noticed I actually had a tea cloth along with the sun hat. I had this like dishcloth to act as like an Arab headdress, you know, sunshade from the back of my neck. I decided to leave that behind in the end. It didn't quite work. It wasn't very comfortable. It was a bit too much.
My name is David Jones. Now, as you know, Ben is banned from the Outer Limits magazine conference. So I'm going to go there instead. Now, I won't be the same if he went himself, but I think I will be able to do a good job of living it for him so that I can report back to him so he knows exactly what happened and how it feels. I must say I'm very much looking forward to this. I've wanted to go to a UFO conference for a long, long time. Never been to one before, and I'm very pleased to say that I'm going to be going to one now. So I think it's time to leave and go there. I will see you again later.
Good morning, everyone. It's Saturday morning here in Hull, and it's pretty similar to the view from my
Hello, David. Splendid Isolation. How you doing?
hotel window that I had when I went to Rawcon, actually. I think I'm on a slightly lower floor. I'm on the 3rd floor. Last time I think I was on the 4th or 5th. But it's pretty, I'm looking at basically the same thing, and the weather is nice, just like it was then. And I'm getting ready now to go to the Outer Limits magazine conference, or rather, David is. Would you be fooled by that? If you saw that? I mean, if you saw David, would you be fooled by him? I mean, some of you know me better.
Right then, I wasn't sure actually. I mean, later on, I was actually surprised and pleasantly surprised that no one actually worked out who I was. Oh, there was a couple of people there who
actually did suspect that I was who I was not, and they followed me for a little while when I went out at one point. But the funny thing is, they didn't think I was me. They thought I was someone else who was banned. There's another guy who was banned too, and they thought I might be him. They followed me like, this is why I stayed in character when I was out of the venue. I was in character the whole time except when I was in my room, because I knew someone might see me, someone might be following me. I had to assume that I was under surveillance the whole time. So yeah, I didn't notice the guys follow me. Actually, it was they were very, very discreet.
Better than others, that's the thing. I mean, I'm better than others. Incidentally, putting together my David disguise was actually quite difficult. I had to do some high street shopping, which is something I really don't like doing and hardly ever do. And I was quite surprised, actually, where at no point did anyone say to me, "Oh, we don't accept cash here." You wouldn't believe what a sloppy dresser I am. Well, maybe you would. I do dress casually generally.
David's ventilation says the David disguise looks a bit like the They Live aliens, sort of skeletal.
I can dress up smart, but my clothing comes direct from a charity shop. Really, I just go around the charity shops till I find something my size.
Pat Wright's wondering how much it cost. I honestly can't remember. I think the walking sticks were like £10 each. Trousers. I got some cheap trousers, and the shirt was like 18. I can't remember entirely well. Pat Wright.
Smart shirts, things like that.
No, it's like Madison. I should have gone full Mrs. Doubtfire. If I want to do this again, I'll have to, because this disguise won't work again, will it? I can't be David Jones again. He's too famous. I've that identity. I'll have to dress up as. I probably will have to go in a dress and wig and pretend to be. I'll call myself Ben Jemima or something. I don't know.
And of course, I couldn't get everything I wanted in my usual shopping route, your circuit. So I had to go to Primark and places like that. I've never even, I had to go into Marks and Spencer's. I mean, first time in years. God, Ronnie. I mean, some of you were going to be
CCG, very funny.
God.
Dame Edna.
So anyway, I did put together my David kit.
Davina Jones, yeah.
Some of the things I managed to buy online, the walking sticks I got online, for example. The question is, I mean, I don't know how well that would work. I don't know how well it's going to work. I am getting a bit of butterflies now. I don't know if I'm going to get away with this, quite frankly. Oops. My goodness me, they found me already. No, nobody's found me, actually. I have not seen a single person I know since I arrived in Hull. Mind you, I've been in this room here I've been in my hotel room for 14 hours now, non-stop. I've eaten nothing but sandwiches and drunk nothing but water and tea and coffee from the free giveaways, which is not the nicest in the world. But it's necessary. It's necessary to make sure no one knows I'm here, as I explained. But if you see, I think what happens now is whether I get.
CG says I should have worn a burqa. That's not a bad idea, actually. Yeah, that's a possibility. If I ever have to do this again, I'll have to think of something.
Away with it or not is going to be very much down to me, because I'm going to have to. Firstly, I must make sure that I maintain my David voice, which is rather like David Attenborough, actually. I've sort of modelled it on David Attenborough. Very posh accent with slightly breathy, low intensity.
Nice one, Hugo.
Vocals, like this. If I've got to be careful not to slip, even when I'm faking a voice, you may notice because I fake voices, of course, all the time. I do fake voices, like my Guardian voice, man, when I'm doing my videos. I just got to be careful not to slip back into my own voice. And to do that, I have to minimize social contact with people, basically not talk to people unless I have to. Now, that is going to be difficult. This is something I'm going to have to focus on and concentrate on, because I am such an extrovert, especially at conferences. As I said before, I can get in, sometimes when I'm at conferences, I get in people's faces a bit too much, and it irritates them. As a result, I'm going to have to focus on being the quiet man who doesn't speak unless he's spoken to and things like that. And it's going to be difficult, especially because I'll probably see people I know quite well and like very much at this conference. Because I know for a fact that some of my friends are attending. I'm going to meet people who recognise. I think it's most likely my
Benny Tucker, go as Diane Abbott.
close friends are the people most likely to recognise me, of course. And the thing is, if I am challenged, I've got to be awfully careful and pay attention to every detail. For example, you may have noticed I was wearing a kind of black waterproof raincoat last night. The reason I was wearing that black waterproof raincoat is because my grey hoodie is just too distinctive. I have this sort of like capuchin brown hooded sweater you may be familiar with. That's what I often wear when I'm out. And that's
CCG says a Thomas Barden Reese accent. Let me just so kids. Yeah, that was
it's too Ben-esque. It's too Ben-esque. That's a new word, Ben-esque. So I'm gonna have to be careful. I can't wear that. I couldn't even bring it with me. I started wearing that black raincoat. Although I'll probably leave it in the hotel room today, actually, because the weather forecast is gorgeous. It's going to be 20 degrees, clear sunshine, 10% chance of a shower. I mean,
it was actually the weather was pretty good that weekend. To be honest, though, when you're wearing what I was wearing, it's cooler the better. If it had been like a heat wave or something, I don't know what I'd have done. I really don't.
And it's very, very nice weather today. Not too hot, which is good because my David disguise is a little bit on the stuffy side. Now, a lot of you are going to want me to. A lot of you will probably want me to, or maybe expecting me rather, to do what I normally do at conferences. That's go around filming everything, doing reportage, monologues, interviewing people, things like that. I can't do that. I'm not going to be able to do that. Not only is it too Ben-esque, it will draw too much attention to myself. Well, I will try to get you some still photos or some brief clips. I'm actually using my GoPro here. I've actually got a GoPro 6, which I brought with me. I don't use it very often, actually. I should use it more. In fact, I've only used it for a few videos so far. I'm going to take that with me to the conference. I'm going to leave behind the Sony Handycam.
Hello, Michael Snow. How are you?
Which I'm using right now in my hand here. And I'm going to take the GoPro 6 with me. And that is going to, I'll try to get a few stills or brief video clips while I'm there. But they won't be very long. They won't be very detailed. They won't be doing detailed breakdowns of every speaker immediately after they finish strolling around in the car park like I normally do. I can't do that. But I will try to get you some footage of the event today and tomorrow. Should I?
No, Alex Masters Ben X sounds like a drag queen story hour. Oh, good. I would sue any of these monsters. I'd sue for copyright if they tried that.
Should I make it through both days? I think I've got to apologise actually to all of you, because a lot of you probably right now as I'm filming this,
pardon me,
are thinking, Ben, what about the live stream? On Wednesday you did your watch party review of The Day the Earth Stood Still, and there was no live stream. You said you were going to do a live stream at the weekend. You said on Saturday or Sunday I'll do a live stream. I also want to do
So a couple of people wrote to me actually asking me why I was quiet over the weekend, because of course no one heard from me until Monday afternoon. Because when I was at York first, and then of course I left York Friday evening, and people expected me to be back that evening, and I wasn't. So I did have a worried message from someone saying, "Ben, where are you?" I couldn't tell these people. I couldn't tell you where I'd been, unfortunately. I'm sorry about lying to you like that, but it was necessary to maintain my cover.
Reply video. I know. To be honest, the reason I did that was in case some of the people who don't want me at this conference, and I must say, I think the organisers of the conference they're not the principal people who don't want me there. As I said before, I think the conference organisers banned me because some of their inner circle, the speakers of that, they're the ones who are actually against me. I don't think Philip Mansell, Chris Evers, and people like that, I don't think they actually are my enemies. I don't think they dislike me. In fact, so they've actually said as much. They banned me because basically the people who really can't stand me, the people who are like at the core of this conference community. And it's just easier. It's easier and quicker just to keep me out. Keeping me out makes their life easier. Now I think it's a shame, incidentally. I've made this point before. I'm probably repeating myself. I did, when the first conference was on and I wanted to go, I actually said, look, let's just have, I said publicly, I wrote a public statement to the, well, not, I didn't actually contact the Warrenites, not the Warrenites, that's what they call us, the anti-Larry Warren hate cult. I didn't contact, I blocked them all, you know, and I won't speak to them directly, but I made a statement saying, look, let's just have a 24-hour unconditional ceasefire, just so we can enjoy this conference. And the fact that I was then banned from the conference indicates that the anti-Larry Warren hate cult were not willing to go along.
No, it's always matter. What did you do to these people? Oh, Ben, what a long story. That's, I don't know where to start. I've got some other publications about that.
With that, they were not willing to have a 24-hour ceasefire. They may well have said to the organisers, keep that bastard out, keep him out. And which I think is a shame. I mean, if I'd been organising the conference, I'd have said, you know, grow up. I'm not going to keep people out because you don't like them. But it's up to them. It's not my conference. I'm not one of the organisers. It's just I would do it differently if it were me. Now, the reason I put out that live stream, because I think these people are probably monitoring. They do monitor what I do. I know that some of my Facebook friends are spies, because they seem to know everything I post on Facebook, even though my page is strictly friends only. I have about 5,000 people on my friends list, and some of them I think are soccer council spies. And I'm not going to get into you know, massive internecine suspicion of everybody by sifting through and saying, are you real? Are you real? No, I can't be bothered.
Stephen says, do you have a beef with them? Yeah. You know, just the people who are against Larry Warren. It's a long story, Stephen. I'm sure you're familiar with some of it. Nice Matter says, is it RDH and the check the evidence lady? I don't know who you mean. Stephen, I know you're not a spy. I know you're not. Stephen, we've met. I know you're a real person. I think some people, I think some of the names, probably people whose names I don't even know on my friends list, are actually soccer accounts for the trolls. Oh, CG is asking me what I think about the Richard D. Hall thing. I've covered that on other videos, CCG. Well, no doubt I will come back to it, but you can go and check through the last few videos I made. Check the one I did about Richard and Panorama. So I'll go into details there.
So I did that basically to put them off the scent. And I said, oh, yeah, see, Ben's gonna be at home this weekend doing other things. He's not coming here. He's given up on the idea. In fact, I've several times actually over the last couple of months.
Oh, Stephen's joking.
All right, statements. Stephen. People have asked me if I'm attending. I said, no, I'm banned. I've put out statements, essentially intended to put them off their guard, so they're not expecting me to turn up. Yeah, I am frankly interested. I'm worried, but I'm also interested. It would be an interesting thing, actually, if they really reacted against my presence.
Cheers,
there.
CCG.
You see, I don't even know if they're going to recognise me. I think some of them will. So people who know me well will. Most of the people who know me well are probably into people who are not.
Donna Wellham, I know you're not a spy.
Grasp me up. But I'm curious to know if one of the people who does badly want me out of the way recognise me. How determined are they to keep me away? If they do recognise me, will they challenge me? I probably would say no. I mean, my guess is no. Maybe I'm being overly optimistic, but it's just, you see, because I will double down. I will say, no, I am who I am David Jones. That is my name. I am David Jones. I chose David Jones because it's just a very ordinary name.
I'd rehearsed a whole list of different responses in preparation for people reacting to me. You know, because I didn't know they weren't going to recognise me. I thought someone would suspect it was me, and they'd come up and they'd either ask me some questions, or they would start poking, saying, you know, asking me lots of questions and trying to get to the bottom of who I was, trying to get me to reveal myself, or even at the point where they would just simply say, "Get out." I had a whole list of responses rehearsed, ready. I've been going through it in my head. Stephen says, do you know who are the spies? No, I don't. I don't know the identity of every single person on my friends list, and I'm not going to get paranoid going through every single one of them. I don't care, to be honest. I honestly don't care if some of them are passing my stuff on to the trolls. I've got nothing to hide.
And it's not too dissimilar from my real name, so I'm less likely to sort of slip up. I don't have to focus so much. If I call myself Montgomery Wilson Smythe or something, I'd have to continuously focus on maintaining that name whenever people ask me my name. I've got to be careful, actually. If people shout, if I hear the word Ben, it's almost instinctive. It's almost instinctive for me to turn around, because we all do that as a reflex when someone calls our own name. I'm going to have to be on my guard all the time
Maybe
not
Donna.
to do that in case they try to slip me up that way. I have to concentrate continuously. If they do challenge me, I'm just going to say no.
The force is strong with this one. Yeah, Rick. Do you mean me? Oh God. Oh, there is no try. Do or do not do.
I'm David Jones. I'm David Jones. And if they say, well, let me see your face, then I'll say, no, I can't. I have photophobia. I cannot. I will not show you my face. And I'll you see, this is the good thing, right?
Michael Snow, the scene the vista you're seeing now is not the nicest part of Hull. Other parts are much better.
This is one of the reasons I chose to put my character David Jones. One of the reasons I chose him to be ill and disabled and old was that if they really get heavy with me, they're going to look like cunts in front of everyone else in the audience. Whereas if I'm sort of a fit young guy, if I go in my disguise as a sort of fit young chap, they're gonna, it won't look like that. But I'll play this.
I wasn't thinking of the Monkees when I thought of David Jones. No. But was that real name of David Bowie? Oh, again, I didn't know that. Coincidence. The force is strong with you and the mighty David Jones, says Rick.
I'll play the character I'm playing. I cannot expose my skin to the light, especially my face or eyes. If I were to do so, it may trigger a seizure. And I'm sure you don't want me to. You don't want to call me an ambulance in the middle of your conference, do you? Things like that. I'll just play the weak and vulnerable.
No, it's not matter. I don't want to go to jail.
Old guy. My guess is they won't bother challenging me.
He asked if I should explain, because not all of you are watching us on YouTube. I should have gone in blackface. Do you remember my Obama video? You know that was banned, my Obama video. It was deleted from YouTube. Luckily, I did put it in another one. I did include it in one of my UFO disclosure videos. I don't think there was anything racist about that. I thought it was perfectly harmless. But this day and age, you know what it's like.
That's my guess. If they do, like I say, I'll just double down. If they challenge me at the door when I'm going in and say, you're Ben Emlyn-Jones, aren't you? You can't come in. I'll say, but I've got a ticket. I've travelled a long way and I'm not going away. Why? I'm not this Ben Emlyn-Jones person you say I am. Who is this person? He must be an absolute cad. I thought I assumed I'd have heard about him in the newspapers by now, seeing he's so awful.
David says, will David Jones be making an appearance in any different capacity in the future? Probably not, David. I mean, firstly, I don't have the entire disguise anymore. I threw away the Koof masks. The sticks I've also given to charity. I actually gave them to the Salvation Army. So probably not. Oh.
No, I'll just double down. So, guys, that's it. I am off.
Cad is the sort of thing David Jones would say.
I've got to put my David kit back on. I've only put it on once before, so it's kind of it's not very comfortable actually. I don't wear in ties. I don't like wearing ties. It's not because I wore a tie. With
goes Justin Trudeau.
A lot, But now I like to have my neck free.
No, it's not a bad idea, mate.
I found finding a shirt that fit me actually in Primark was more difficult than finding one in any Age Concern or Oxfam. But I couldn't. Ironically, I couldn't find one that fit me in my normal routines. I had to go and get one from. Was it Primark or Marks and Spencer? I can't remember. Anyway, I won't be going back there for a while. All right, guys. So I'm going to now take a slow, shambling walk. I'm going to play the David card. I'm going to walk to the venue from here. It's actually quite a long way. So it's almost 3 miles.
David spends isolation. What class is David Jones? He's sort of like posh, I think. He's sort of like, I had a backstory for him. He'd been living in the United States, getting treatment for his condition in New York. I even found a village in New York State where there was a clinic. But no one asked me about that, so I kind of I think I over prepared for this.
Take it slowly because I'll keep my act on during the journey in case someone from the conference passes me, I probably will start seeing people who know me and I know when I get close to the venue. Okay, guys, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Wish me luck.
Hello everyone, I'm here on this wonderful bridge here in Hull. It appears to be actually a shipping canal or something. Now I should point out that one of the other reasons that Ben has sort of me crucible, right, was I decided to leave the hitch all of my...
You can see I'm using the GoPro now, can't you?
So I just wanted to make sure it draws more attention to myself. One of the reasons that Ben has chosen to make me limp with a stick is to disguise his own gait. It's possible that some people may be able to recognize him from how he moves, his walking, where he walks and moves and things. So this doesn't only make me appear more vulnerable, but also it makes him look less like Ben. So that's another reason I should point it out. Anyway, I'm making good time, so I'm going to continue on my journey now.
It's my first shot here.
It was just an expert. It was so funny to read their explanation.
It was a good set of speakers, actually, I must admit. This is just getting some GoPro shots inside.
Thickness and all this kind of stuff. And he was saying, well, actually, no, judging by the position I was in, and the lighting and the frame rate, and he was a really clever man. And I think his side of deserves to be included in there because of...
Not as long as Matt's comparing me to Hannibal from the A-Team. He was the master of disguise, wasn't he? Yeah.
Because of his background.
You're getting this recorded in the infrared, and then also it's recorded on the radar with carrying leads underneath. So that's just three. But one thing that people tend to ignore, or they've actually got 80 of these reports, 80. So if these are the three that we know about.
Well, good early morning. It's about 2:30 in the morning, actually. I've got insomnia again, which is hardly surprising. It's actually rare for me to get insomnia 2 nights running, but it's extenuating circumstances right now. Today, well, it's been quite a day. I've
glue on a moustache.
Roller coaster emotions.
Steven Sasha goes a gnome.
Basically, my attempt to infiltrate the Outer Limits magazine conference Saturday was 100% successful. Much more so than I thought. When I went in there, I did think some people might sort of like look at me and think, doesn't he look a bit familiar? I never, from what I can tell, nobody suspects me. I've not had a single suspicious look from anyone. At one point, I passed Malcolm Robinson in the doorway to the toilet, a man who knows me quite well, and she just, here we go, hold the door open. And for me, because of course I'm an old guy with sticks, you know.
Malcolm remembered that, actually. When at Lapis, we had a good laugh about that, because he remembered that me passing him as David Jones, you know.
No, he didn't give me a second look. I think maybe this is the way our brains work. Our brains, I suppose I overestimate my own recognizability because I know myself so well, I know my own appearance so well. Possibly a close member of my family or a close friend may be able to spot me. There was no one that close there. This led to
David's Splendid Isolation is asking me if I settled the issue with Charles Scott. No, David, just look at the comments you're going to see underneath this video by Charles Scott. Even if he doesn't turn up in live chat, he will want to say a lot about this.
Rather feelings I didn't
Tor England, why not as a shrubbery? Yeah, I could be one of the knights who say "Nee."
expect to have. I really didn't expect to have. Feelings of guilt almost. And this is something I really despise about myself. It's a weakness that I have. And I don't even know I have it. Maybe you guys can psychoanalyze me. I know Charles from Project Camelot loves to do that. He loves to.
Charles from Project Camelot, unfortunately, he's taking a sabbatical from social media, and I understand why. He's had a lot of aggravation from various corners, which is a shame because I like him. He's a good guy.
psychoanalyze me. But I started to feel guilty for my deception. The very fact that I deceived these people, I started to feel guilty, even though I know I shouldn't feel like that.
Donna, I'm thinking of I'm hoping to go to the Cornwall UFO conference. The problem is I'm speaking in October as well, East Anglia UFO group. I'm not sure what the dates are yet, so I can't buy the ticket yet.
My guilt is misplaced because these are people who are, they have been, I think, unjust towards me, and therefore this is a kind of retaliation. Which is the whole point that I'm doing this operation, this mission. And secondly, really, my deception is inconsequential. I mean, who's the injured party? My point in doing this is to prove that I can attend the Outer Limits magazine conference and there's no negative.
Hi, Snarnock. Snarnock has mentioned Gareth Davis. He would have found this hilarious. Maybe he's watching from the other side. Snarnock, if you keep watching, there's a little scene later on in the film where I mention Gareth.
There's no negative consequences from my presence because the organisers are convinced that all hell would break loose if I were there. Heavens would fall. The conference would have to be cancelled because of me being there. Things like that, and it hasn't happened. My hope is by the end of tomorrow, everyone will go home having had a wonderful weekend, and they'll find out later that I was there, and they'll say, "Well, it didn't make any difference, did it? That's my whole purpose of being here." So, and I also felt, I felt guilty pretending to be so old and frail. People were very nice to me, you see, and people were helpful. I dropped my sticks at one point, and someone said, "You all right, love?" One of the staff members, "Love."
I miss Gareth too, Snarnock. I really do.
I'm not old and decrepit.
Kev Baker, oh yeah. Yeah, he'd have loved it too.
So I didn't expect to feel that way. I started out.
Diego Rivera says, "Apocalypse Now, Marlon Brando." Well, you know that Brexit video I made where I actually looked like that, with when that scene where he's like the light and shadows are playing over his head. There's a scene where someone said I look just like him in one of the Brexit videos.
On this, and I shouldn't have. The conference itself was, the speakers were, with one exception, they were pretty good. They were pretty interesting. There was. As Chris Evans himself did a talk.
CCG, how many people did you recognise whilst in disguise? Most of the people there I'd seen before. Few because they go to the other conferences as well. Oh, Donna, yeah, thanks. I know about the Cornwall conference, but send it over. I'd like to. I forgot where the page was, so send it over. I am going to be speaking at East Anglia in October or I'm not sure when the date is. That's the thing. It may be the same. Probably not, because it's a weekday thing for East Anglia. But I just want to check first.
About a number of photographs that have been sent his way that he was suspicious of. For example, apparently there's a new Rendlesham Forest photo out, which is it looks like a green disc, but apparently he thinks someone's put a light inside a bottle. This apparently was a Polaroid photo taken by a policeman.
Making me yawn. Watching me yawn's making me yawn.
Mike Covell, local man, talking again about UFOs and other paranormal phenomena in the area of Hull. I remember he was at the Rawcon. Then there was Paul Ascoff. I was going to interview him, actually. I don't know if he'll still want to be interviewed when he sees this, but I did write to him a couple of times asking.
Paul hasn't commented, as far as I know, about his opinions of what I did.
To interview him. He was into psychic mediums, then he got into ufology, and he talks about parallel worlds, goblin universe, that kind of thing. The John Keel stuff. Oh, but he's I feel sleepy. Maybe I should try and sleep again when I've done this. I didn't film earlier actually because I was just too tired. I got in here and I was exhausted because I had to walk.
Oh, Pat writes off. Night, Pat. Take care. See ya. Rick has asked me if I could do a watch stream with myself and Gareth. I think, Rick, that would be very, very. I find that very. I think I'd find that really sad. Gareth's channel is still there, and everything she did, it's still there. I know a lot of people who died quite a long time ago, and their social media are still there. So all these videos are still there.
It's a 2-hour walk actually to the venue, 2 hours each way. And
I was almost late actually on my way up there. I had to like walk a little bit too fast for my disguise for the last bit. I did get there on time though.
The reason it's 2 hours is because I have to stay in character. I can't. If anyone sort of drives past and spots me walking normally, then they think, "What's that guy with the sticks doing walking normally?" And that'll make them suspicious. So I have to stay in character for the whole journey. Paul Ashcroft, yeah, very interesting chap. Talks about UFOs and other things and other dimensions. Sasha Christie, who, I've got my issues with her, but she did a talk about her own childhood experience in Wales, which she's now found someone to back her up. Somebody else is supporting her now, saying that because they were there too. They were there on holiday with Sasha, and she supported her.
Cheers, nothing.
So, and then was it Paul Sinclair? Very interesting chap indeed, talking about the Bempton phenomenon. Basically, it's a location, it's just north of Hull on the coast actually, where all kinds of weird stuff has happened. Bigfoot sightings, dogmen sightings, UFOs, ghosts, cryptids of various kinds, and disappearances, David Paulides style disappearances. Yeah, I've got a copy of his DVD. He's done a very good documentary. If I can, I'll pick up a book from his stall. Because I've been meaning to get one because we want to sign.
No, I didn't. I saw Paul. I saw Paul Sinclair at Blackpool at the Awakenings, and I bought a book from him and he signed it there. And I think it would have been a bit, if I'd got it, I'd have had to get him to sign it David Jones, and I suppose it would have been a bit of a joke. So I said, Paul, remember this? No, so besides, it wouldn't have been very good field work because again, it's exposing myself to attention. So I did see Paul again. He recognised me. We had a bit of a laugh about it actually. He says, "Oh Ben, I recognise you this time." Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll have to ask him to sign it to David. If I do that, I'll owe him a big apology. I might wait actually until I see him again. It's another event.
I did, yeah.
I can't give you any more major details on the talks because sitting there scribbling, taking notes.
Lisa says, "Jesus, 2 hours on sticks. Respect, Ben." It wasn't good for me actually. I'm glad it's not something I'm going to do again. It gave me a bit of a bad back. Yeah,
kind of thing. That's a Ben-like thing to do. I couldn't do that. It may expose me. So I was sitting there thinking, what the hell am I? I was sitting there before the last talk thinking, what the hell am I doing? Why am I doing this? And again, you viewers can probably maybe tell me why you think I'm doing this. Why is it so important to me? Why did it upset me so much being banned? I mean, people get banned from conferences all the time. Usually it's for a reason, and I suppose it's just I don't really.
Stephen said, "Imagine if Ben had stripped off his disguise mid-flow convention." That would have, probably people would have been shocked if I'd done that. They said, "Oh my God, it's him! How did he get in here?" If I'd done it in the middle of the Sunday session, it'd been too late by then. But I thought my whole point, though, it would have caused
it would have caused disruption. And my whole point of doing this was not to cause disruption. My whole point of doing this operation was to go in, be there, come out again, and no one would know anything about it until it was all over. Because the whole point was that I could be at the conference and not cause disruption. So obviously, stripping off my disguise in the middle of it, if the comp would have just caused, it would have caused people's attention to turn to me. Oh my God, it's Ben Emlyn-Jones. He's here. I didn't want that. I wanted people. Basically, if I hadn't been there, they would never have known. Jay Yorkman, hello. How are you? Ben, I thought it was funny how those that banned you made out you were not banned. Oh, I wish I saw their faces when they realised they missed. But David Jake, it was inevitable they were going to say that, wasn't it? I mean, it was. I actually predicted later in the video they're going to say, "Oh, we knew it was you all along, Ben. We just decided not to say anything." It's a very obvious cope.
I don't know what it is. I'd have to think about that. Maybe you can talk about it in the comments. I just felt upset at being banned. And I want to prove that I can attend this conference. Although I think I know why they really didn't want me there, though, because Peter Robbins was there. Peter Robbins did a long talk about various anecdotes of his 40-plus year career in ufology. During the Q&A, someone put their hands up and asked about Larry Warren, and he said he's going to talk about Larry tomorrow. Peter is enough. Then Chris came up and made the announcement. Yeah, he said this is the right audience to do this talk. Well, it is, except for one. And he says tomorrow Peter is going to spend half an hour talking about Larry Warren. So he's, despite the fact he keeps saying he wants to put it behind him, I want to put it behind me. I want to move on now. Despite that, he keeps wanting to come back to it. And so he's going to spend half an hour tomorrow morning going on about it.
I wonder how many more final statements on Larry Warren Peter Robbins has made since this. I mean, in the year since this, I bet he's probably made about 6 or 7 more final statements on Larry Warren. It was funny at this point. I really thought, maybe he will say something original. It's possible he will actually posit some information at this exclusive half-hour special about Larry Warren to this absolutely ideal audience. Oh my God, he's going to say something new. He's going to say something original. Did he? You'll see.
I don't know. We'll see what happens anyway. I've downloaded an app, so I'll try and record the talk, although the sound quality is quite bad. I will.
It only ran for about a couple of minutes, and it went off.
Attempt to.
As it turned out, well, it wasn't really worth it anyway.
To record it from my phone surreptitiously, and just in case he says anything original, which is unlikely. I can't believe he's got anything new to say about this after all this time. But if he does, I'll be there, ready to record it. But yeah, this is not what I expected. I didn't expect to feel like this. I didn't expect to. I had this idea that it would be sort of fun. I was thinking that this would be some sort of mischievous prank on my part. I get there, I start feeling guilty, and then I suddenly realise, oh my God, Peter's going to have another go at Larry, and I start feeling angry. I start feeling angry that Peter's going to just bring this up again. I mean, he's so vindictive. I mean, I want to put it behind me. Well, put it behind you then, Peter. I'll stop talking about it. He's going to just go over what he's got. He, despite the fact, this needs to be done. The audience needs to hear this. The audience has already heard it. They've already heard my side of the story too. They've heard our side too. So it's probably just going to be a rehash of the stuff he's talked about before.
Yeah, well, what the hell? It was. Yeah, disappointing from Peter, says David. Yeah, I actually wrote an article for Neon Nettle years ago. It was called Peter Robbins, the nicest ufologist in the world. Yeah. I've actually I've actually learned, and I made this point because I had to do a couple of radio shows about Peter Robbins because of what he was saying about me and what other people was telling him about me. I've become wary of people who are too nice, just too nice. You know what I mean? What you'll find is people like that, very often their niceness is kind of a haze of treacle to disguise more malevolent aspects of their personality. I like people who are nice. I like people who are friendly and good, but beware anyone you think is just too nice. That's what I'm saying.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens tomorrow. And as I said, my feelings have changed. I've been, like I said, it's been this roller coaster of emotions. I got there feeling nervous and mischievous.
Oh, go to bed, Ben.
I start feeling guilty. Feeling, oh God, Ben. You know, what are you doing? You know, you really... Why should I feel that way? I mean, again, I don't know why I feel that way. I don't see why I should feel guilty. And then it finishes with feeling angry.
Hello, Della Farrens. How you doing? Welcome.
They're gonna do this again. I'm realizing this is why.
I'm not, thanks. I'm not bad, thanks, Della. I hope you are. I'm sorry if I didn't send you the link.
This is why the organisers didn't want me there. This is why the organisers didn't answer my emails when I wrote asking if I could buy a ticket. They probably set up this ticket purchasing system just for that particular purpose. So every single person who purchased a ticket could be vetted. So either they were if they were inappropriate.
You too,
people,
Della.
They didn't. No one replied to say sorry, we can't allow you to attend. They were just met with silence. And then, so this is not what I expected, but I know from previous situations where I've been in this situation where things are never as you expect them to be. But once I've made a decision to carry out a mission, an adventure, a quest, I stick with it, and I'm going to stick with it. I made a decision. I went to a lot of trouble to obtain a ticket.
Lisa says, I truly think this actually did not do you good, Ben, in honesty. Yep, we all had a laugh, Ben, but I don't feel this really served you in honesty. Well, fair enough, Lisa. I mean, I did ask people for their opinions on this matter. That's the whole point of me allowing people to comment on things like that. I disagree. I think it did. I mean, as you can see here, I don't have a kind of internal unity of purpose here. I am self-questioning, I'm self-doubtful, especially in the middle on the Saturday night when I just got through all of Saturday and I had all of Sunday to do. I was experiencing a lot of uncertainty, a lot of insecurity. I'll admit it, insecurity, and I'm thinking to myself, I was almost looking for excuses within myself, maybe not to go. I was actually considering at that point not to go to Sunday at all, and just cut my losses and go. In the end, I decided I would go to the Sunday, and I'm glad I did.
Ticket for this conference without the organisers knowing, and I'm going to stick to my decision to do what
Stop
I'm doing.
mucking about, says Phuket. Well, am I Kenneth Williams?
So we'll see.
Hugo now has 24 spliffs in his tin. Oh, great. Let's just hope that lasts, Hugo.
What happens? I mean, tomorrow I think will be, if I have been rumbled in any way, I suppose I'll find out, because tomorrow morning is the most sensitive part of the entire conference. Peter's little talk on Larry. So if anyone has any suspicions of me, thinks I may not be, the frail old guy with the sun hat and the coof mask and the sunglasses may not be who he appears to be, that's when they'll probably come down on me. That's when I guess there'll be some kind of move against me. If they don't, then I assume that nobody has. I didn't notice anyone looking at me suspiciously. So I might leave before the end tomorrow, actually, because I didn't get back in till 8:30. And by that time, most of the shops were shut.
Yeah, I did leave before the end. I just, I went back for one speak. I didn't listen to the Kinsellas. I had to get out there because, well, you'll see in a minute. I had to get out because I was very hot. I was very uncomfortable. I'd had that mask on all day, and it was like really getting to me. And so I went off to this pub. There's a pub down the road. There's a lovely pub actually, just a couple of 100 yards from the venue, where I went and had a drink.
And so I went into the beer garden. I didn't film myself doing this because I wasn't sure who it was about, but I found a very discreet part of the beer garden where I could sit behind a tree and take my mask off to drink. I just had I had a beer at the end, but I just had a glass of Diet Coke or something to begin with.
I found one shop where I could buy sandwiches and a carton of orange squash. I was so thirsty. I was dehydrated. So I might leave before the end tomorrow, because tomorrow's Sunday and the shops are going to shut even later. So I might have to leave before the end.
Even earlier. That was a verbal typo there.
Mind you, once I'm out there, I don't really have to stay in character. But I want to keep this quiet until this film is uploaded. So I'll probably stay in character until I leave Hull. Because if they get wind of what's coming, the trolls might try to flag my channel, stop me uploading. So I will stay in character till I'm out of Hull. Okay, so I'm yawning enough now. I'm going to try and sleep. If I can't, I can't.
I actually did like a fast upload to YouTube, but I uploaded it to all platforms at once. So it was out there and no one could really stop it at that point.
I can't. It doesn't matter how much I can't sleep when I have this insomnia. The moment I have to get up, drowsiness hits me. Insomnia is like that. It's for me. It's like my body plays a dirty trick on me. It always seems to wear off just before I have to wake up. But and it's something I get anyway, regularly, every week or so. And this weekend I've had it 2 nights. But it's extenuating circumstance, like I said. Anyway, guys, wish me luck for tomorrow. I was praying to the gods of mischief, Loki and all the others, when I was walking up there. So hopefully they'll be smiling down on me tomorrow morning.
This here is the venue, the Freedom Centre. It's a lovely sunny day here. You'll see me. I've just left the venue. It's over. Outer Limits Magazine Conference 2022 is done. And I'm
God, the relief I felt was just like, oh.
bloody relieved, I tell you. I'm going to head for a pub. There's a pub up the road called the Highland Laddie, where I had a Diet Coke.
That's it, the Highland Laddie. If you're ever in pub, if you're ever in Hull, just go to there. It's a lovely pub. That is really lovely pub.
Earlier this afternoon, I'm going back there, but this time I'm going to have something stronger. I think I've earned it. Quite something. I'll say more later.
This, as you'll know, this is another continuity error. I filmed this the following morning when I was in York, waiting for my coach to go home. I went and had breakfast at Wetherspoons. I invited Lily to come and join me, but she couldn't make it. This is where I mentioned Gareth. You can see my obvious thoughts went to Gareth at this point.
I feel sad all of a sudden because I've just been thinking how much Gareth Davis would have loved this story.
Just think what he would have made of this little caper. Just think I can almost hear what he would have said. I can almost hear his voice now on the Mindset podcast. Ben, you did what? Ben, I just watched this video of yours. And it's like, oh man, Gareth. It's times like this where I really miss these guys. Gareth, Kev Baker, people like that.
Brilliant. What a brilliantly fun time we would have had telling it on the Mindset podcast. Gareth, if you're anywhere right now and you can see me, I hope you did enjoy it.
I hope you did, yeah. Dude, yeah, he would, Gareth. Gareth would have said, dude. I think I opened a bit of a can of worms mentioning Diet Coke in the chat box. Hello, see how we are living. How do you do? And I know, Lisa, I know it's not the ideal thing to drink, but, you know, I wasn't really thinking straight. I just wanted something that was tasty and liquid. Hello, Fletch. How do you do? I miss Kevin Baker too. Yeah. Thanks, Rick. Gareth is with me. I had a pair of trousers on under there. Don't worry.
Don't worry, I've got trousers on underneath.
I had a double pair of trousers, yeah. Hello, Thomas L. Unleash the Kraken.
Don't look so worried, I've got a t-shirt underneath.
I think I'm doing a striptease. It was uncomfortable, Lisa, very. It was a relief to get that off, I'll tell you.
Mission accomplished. Look at my tie. It's light blue. The tie is light blue. It's the colour of hospital portrait. It was staring them in the face the whole time. Well, yeah.
That was a bit of an obscure clue, I suppose, wasn't it? Yeah.
Day 2 of the conference, and the conference itself is now over, and I've come back after my lovely little pint of, what was it, a woodpecker cider I had, very nice. This is just orange juice in the pub. Much deserved, much needed. I took the long walk back to the hotel for the last time, and that's it, the conference is over. Yeah, I was in character for the walk back, because I don't want anyone to know what this is about until I upload the video, because some of the trolls will try and eat the channel. They'll try and eat the channel before I upload it. That's the thing. Anyway, yeah, the day 2 of the conference is actually better than the first in some ways. Although I thought both days were pretty good. I mean, it was a roaring success, I would say. It was pretty good, generally. It began with some awards that were given out. This conference has awards, just like UFO Truth Mag. Ronnie and Philip Kinsella got rewards, which I think is much deserved. There was a technical guy on.
Yeah, they're good artists. Ronnie and Philip, I can never tell them apart, but one of them's a great artist. The other's a good writer. Although I don't think they were very impressed with what I did at this event. Actually, I haven't heard from them for a while.
Who was that? Because, well, yeah, one did, which one it was, does all the artwork for OLM. Peter Robbins got an award, of course. That was a bit predictable, wasn't it? Yeah, I mean, I'd say that when it comes to the speakers at this conference, I thought they were all pretty good, with one exception that I will talk about. I thought the speakers were pretty good. So we'll deal with the good speakers of today first. Colin Saunders was there. Now, you may be familiar with that name because I have actually interviewed him myself. There is a video on my channel in which I interviewed Colin about his strange experience. He had an interesting...
Rick, he was the guy who saw the flying triangle I mentioned.
Encounter. Like I said, these reviews are going to be quite short because I couldn't sit there taking notes for reasons I've already explained. But the...
Stephen, Best Disguise Award, me, obviously.
Colin had a remarkable experience a number of years.
David, I still don't understand why Ben had to hobble all the way back for 2 hours, but that's a dedication to the role, if nothing else. Well, thanks, David. The reason I had to do it was just in case someone saw me. I had to stay in character literally until I left the hotel when I was in my old disguise with the black mask and the hat backwards, the anti-terrorist look. No one could know I'd been there until the video was uploaded. This means no one, you know, I was still undercover even after the conference.
Years ago, when he was driving along with some friends and family, and it involved the sighting of a flying triangle. It was a very close encounter, which he remembered very well, and actually has managed to create a number of models of it. It helps. He is actually an aviation engineer, which of course helps very much with that sort of thing. So that was pretty good what Colin did there. And I've actually seen the model. I've held it. He's made another one since. He's actually created a number now, which is he's come up with several theories about what it might be. Now, unlike people like Michael Schratt, and indeed he's been conversing with Michael Schratt an awful lot, he doesn't believe what he saw was alien reproduction vehicle or secret space program. He doesn't believe that. He believes it was extraterrestrial. That's perfectly possible. I mean, it's actually become quite a fashionable idea to say that, well, any UFO is just not a ball of light. Anything structured in the sky, it's back engineered alien technology. For reasons I've explained on previous videos, I don't think that's the case. I think it is certainly true in some cases, and I wouldn't say that Michael Schratt is wrong in his ideas, in his basic idea. What I think he does is I think he applies it too liberally to cases where it doesn't actually fit. His theoretical model doesn't actually fit. And funnily enough, Colin has had a run-in with old Mr. Modest himself as well, Dr. Stephen Greer. Because apparently what happened was Greer used a picture of Colin's sighting based on his design. It appears in one of Greer's movies. I don't know which one it is. Is it Above Top Secret or Road to Disclosure? I don't know. There's so many, they sort of blend into one, and they're all very similar. So I don't know which one it was, but in one of Greer's films, one of his documentaries.
Oh, thanks, Lisa. Thank you.
This appears, and Greer gives it an example of an alien reproduction vehicle. When Colin looked into it, he found out that he just simply got that information from him.
Now, David says no one would have noticed you on a distant pavement if they didn't notice you at the conference, hence your disguise. Well, they'd have seen a guy they may have recognised from the conference walking along normally. That could have raised their suspicions, David.
Right. And he hadn't actually approached Colin at all. Now, that was very interesting. It's good to see Colin again on stage. Now, like I said, the one downside about this particular conference is I can't go up and speak to people and reintroduce myself. I met a lot of people there I know well. A lot of good friends of mine were there. And I
did speak to Jason Gleaves briefly, just talking to him about one of his models. He did a model of one of the, it was that Space 1999 thing, the Jerry Anderson thing. And I did speak to him briefly about it, and he answered me. He didn't recognize me. But I did have a brief conversation with Jason Gleaves.
I couldn't go up to him and start talking to them. I saw Jason Gleaves. I saw Paul Sinclair.
I should mention that. Yeah,
I didn't get a copy of his book in the end. I thought that would be a bit dishonest of me. I saw Lorraine of the Marshall V and Summer Stall. She was there. Saw a couple of other people I recognised from Probe. A couple of faces I knew, not names. You can't really, and Colin himself. I mean, you probably remember me. I had to remain isolated behind my disguise.
Hello, Paul Armstrong. Hello, 3 Bens on your screen. Oh my goodness me, which one's the real one? How you doing, Paul?
And the same goes to 2 other guys I saw there I know quite well, and I'm fond of, and I like talking to, are Philip and Ron Kinsella. I've already mentioned they received awards.
I don't think they're very fond of me anymore.
Both of them actually received an award. As you know, they spoke at Dreaming Saucers.
69 Phuket. Old Crutchy died. Yes, he's someone who always on Charlie Veach's channel. Yeah. David says, Ben, what about the journey back? It was then mission accomplished, so you could have ditched the crutches anyway. Well, I did. When I went back to the station from the hotel, I did, David. I took them back with me because I just wanted to give them away. But I went back to the station in the same disguise as you saw me go from the station to the hotel. That is the anti-terrorist look.
And no, I can't tell them apart either. But they both did a talk, one after the other, and I missed it. I actually went out to the pub, and I just needed to get out of that place. I needed to get out. I needed some fresh air. I needed to sit in a beer garden and have a drink. And all I had was Diet Coke, like I said earlier. But I just needed to get out for a couple of hours. So apologies to Philip and Ronnie. You know, I must apologise for not seeing their talks, but I mean, I've seen their talks before, and I'm familiar with their talks. So
Paul says nobody goes through more trouble and strife for his conferences than Ben. That's probably true, Paul. Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit of an obsessive, aren't I? I admit that. I am. I think I'm a bit. I think the French word is idée fixe. I think I get the French idée fixe when it comes to conferences.
So I didn't see that. Then Malcolm Robinson came on. Now this is a guy he actually. Oh dear, Malcolm. I shouldn't say everything. I'm not going to tell you everything what happened because it was kind of private between us. But he went away to Hull. Hull seems to be the hotbed of the anti-Larry Warren sort of faction. I don't know which conference it was. He went to one of the Hull conferences, and to cut a long story short, he completely disowned me afterwards. He didn't speak to me. He just
thanks, David.
broke contact with me, and eventually I challenged him on this. I said, "Look, Malcolm, what's happened is, I know what's happened now because he didn't give me any explanation. He just seemed to disappear from my social media." And I said to him, "Malcolm, you've spent the weekend in Hull listening to my name being dragged through the dirt, and you decided to block me without even hearing my testimony." And well, he did reply, and we had a conversation. I'm not going to relate that. I think that's private between us.
And as I explained, Malcolm and I have made up since then, where we met at Lapis, and he is speaking to me now.
That's not coming up on the microphone. So, of course, the third speaker.
I had to remember it all. I couldn't just sit there scribbling notes. Again, that's too Ben-like. That would have again breached. It would have been a security issue if I'd done that. I could have possibly been rumbled at that point.
Was the final speaker was Mr. Three Times himself, Peter Robbins. Yeah, he closed the conference with what I thought was actually not a bad speech. It was all right by his standards compared to his others, especially the second one. It was actually very good. He talked about the anatomy of the UFO cover-up and how the media was involved. He was actually quite right. He did quite a good assessment of it, I thought. And he actually reached some of the same conclusions that I have about the Cutler Twining memo, about official ridicule and denial. It actually began right back at the beginning with Kenneth Arnold and ended in literally almost exactly just over 75 years. Sorry, just over 70 years later with the New York Times article by Leslie Kane and Ralph Duenthal. Literally all just over 75 years and 5 months that cover-up lasted. 70, not 75. Why do I keep saying 75? Oh, I know. 75 is a number burned into my mind at the moment because it's the 75th anniversary of Roswell. I have to do something for that in July. Yeah, I will. So that was the speakers for day two.
Ease off the vodka.
Pretty good. The one exception was Monsieur Robbins. Now, as I explained last night when I couldn't sleep and I was sort of yawning, I don't know how coherent I am. I haven't looked back at the video yet. I'm not reshooting it. He announced actually at the end of the first day that he was going to dedicate the first half hour of the following morning to.
Oh, Lisa's off. All right. Lisa, take it easy. I'll see you. I'll see you, Lisa. Sleep well. Talk to you again soon.
Statement on Larry Warren. Now, this I think is rather strange because I know that the organisers, I don't know if it's Chris Evers or one of the others, I know that somebody involved with this conference actually said, in the previous conferences where the anti-Larry Warren brigade were there, they said, "Look, I don't want this brought up at this conference. His name is not to be mentioned." I think it might.
Oh, Lisa's still there. Sorry, Lisa, I misread. Yep. Oh, sorry, Lisa, I misunderstood. I'm getting some reading glasses, like I said. Cool. Let's talk Saturday, the 9th of September for the conference. Right, you are, Lisa. Lisa's reorganising her conference, which is good.
Obviously, there's been some to and fro because this conference was cancelled 2 years running because of the bloody lockdown. It was nice. I mean, it's actually, it must be such a relief actually for Chris and the others to get this conference out after being in the wilderness for so long. I'm sure a lot of people feel that way, which does make it a special conference in that sense. But obviously that's all changed. There's been some negotiations, and Peter has decided he does want to make another final statement on Larry Warren. He's made about 50 final statements on Larry Warren. I expect he'll probably make 100. He'll probably be making final statements on Larry Warren for the rest of his life. Now, I was very keen to. I was actually speaking to some of my friends. I did actually confide in a friend of mine who's kind of like involved with Larry and also friends with Larry, mutual friend of Larry, about what I was doing.
This is the one person who knew what I was. There's just one person I knew who knew what I was doing. I did actually confide in a single person and brief them into what I was doing here. They were the one texting me, sending me information on what was being said on social media about the conference from the people who were there. And I relaxed. It was interesting, actually. It was useful having him doing that, because I could then relax, because no one was even talking about me. Nobody mentioned me. Who's that strange guy with the sticks and the sun hat? No one mentioned me.
And so I've been keeping him posted with what's going on during the course by text message. And I've let him know what this was about. Now, he was very careful. Ben, make a note of everything you can, record it if you can. If you can record it secretly in good quality and things like that. We need to know everything he's going to say. And I do. I have got a sound recording out, but it failed after 3 minutes. It just records me coming out of the bog. So I couldn't record it. The quality might not have been very good anyway. But what I did make as much of a note as I could of what Peter said. As I said, I couldn't make written notes, but I was very careful to try and commit what he said to memory, because this could have been a moment where he's going to dredge up some more shit about Larry, which we defenders of Larry Warren would have to address. But you know what? He didn't. Well, he made one new accusation. And he said that the new accusation, the one original new thing he said in half an hour of rabbiting, was that Larry Warren had once turned up at his flat wearing a pair of fake John Lennon sunglasses. That's the one. I've never heard Peter mention that before. That's the one new thing I've heard him mention. Funny enough, he has never mentioned that before. I don't know why he never mentioned that before, if he hasn't. I don't remember him mentioning it. The rest of it was primarily Larry Warren. He threatened a woman, and that's Larry's handwriting on there. He faked his handwriting, and that doctor's not an eye specialist, and and the antiques. That was it. So it was the threats of violence, the doctor being an eye specialist, not being an eye specialist, the fake handwriting, and the fact that Larry Warren he trades fake antiques. What's the phrase Peter used? I can't remember. He used some kind of phrase that to describe Larry's grand larceny in the world of antiques. Which of course now basically how do I put it? Every single accusation on that list is false. It's completely false, and I have comprehensively discredited it, along with others such as Larry Warren and a couple of other people. We have comprehensively discredited all those accusations. These are things that Peter has said many times before, and he just repeated them again in front of all this audience. Now, Chris Evers, the MC, he didn't.
Lisa says, you know what? Lisa just says here, from watching this whole episode, felt a bit sad because you couldn't do your usual conference mixing stuff. I just felt sad, just saying. Well, Lisa, it was not. Obviously, this was very different to my normal experience of being at a conference. It's true. And of course, the conferences I've been to since then and before then were very, very different. Yeah. But it's just a one-off. It's not something I plan to do regularly. Like I said, Peter Robbins literally said nothing original at all in this this incredible, this bombshell it was supposed to be. I mean, the way Chris Evans was talking about it and saying, well, tomorrow is the big day. Peter's going to dedicate the first half of his talk to talking about Larry Warren to the right audience. And I thought, I actually had begun to believe that Peter had he was going to use this conference as an opportunity to launch some completely new and original and groundbreaking accusation against Larry that he just suddenly thought of, or Sasha Christie just told him about, or something like that. But you know what? He didn't. He literally, it was a massive anticlimax. He simply just rehashed and repeated things he'd said before, and he keeps saying them all before. Pathetic.
He wasn't zealous when it comes to this matter. He did say, Peter's got a lot of, I can't remember his exact quote, so apologies if I got that wrong. He said, this is a story that needs to be told. This audience needs to hear it. Well, the audience, I'd be surprised if there's a single person in that audience who hasn't already heard these accusations, and also, hopefully, heard our explanation of them and how they are fabrications. Because if Gary and myself and others have done our job right, then it means that we also heard our side of the story and how we explain that Peter.
Lisa says I restricted my oxygen for too long. Yeah, I know. Lisa, I don't wear those masks. I haven't worn those masks like that at any other time. It is literally, that was kind of a one-off. It was a part of my disguise.
Peter Robbins is talking a load of bullshit. And that's all I really need to say, because I've covered this so many times before. Is that what point is there in repeating myself again? Repeating the things that were really hashed over 5 years, 6 years ago? Yeah, it's being perpetuated. The primary perpetuator of this is Peter Robbins now. It really is. A lot of people were slagging off Capel Green. There was a little Q&A and someone said, well, Capel Green's not coming out. That's it. That must mean that they're not going to release the film because they know it's dodgy. Well, it doesn't mean that. Capel Green seems... I don't know all the details here, but I am in touch with people.
Well, since then, of course, we know that Capel Green is an active project. It's basically it's still out there working. I don't know what the release date is, but it is happening. And everyone who was at that conference is going to see it.
On the inside of this production. It is still an active production. It appears to be experiencing some kind of development hell at the moment, but it's got nothing to do with the factual nature of what's being discussed in the film. I assure you that. The factual nature it's more likely to do with the expansion of the project from its original remit. The film is still active. The film will appear at some point. It could even take another year. I don't know. And I know you guys have been waiting a long time. But
it has taken more than a year.
This happens in the movie industry. No one complained. Well, people have complained. Big fans complain. But when the Avatar sequel is about 10 years late now, isn't it?
Yeah, it came out this year. I didn't go and see the Avatar sequel. I mean, a lot of people went to see it and they said it was rubbish. I wasn't a huge fan of the original. I thought it was okay. But I never felt the urge to go and see it.
No one is saying, well, that's because Avatar is dodgy. No, of course not. So really, all in all, my assessment of this conference is it was really good. It was worth attending. Now, you're not going to agree with everything you hear. You may strongly disagree with some of the things you hear, as I did. You may consider some of the things. Well, one of the things that one speaker said, very, very disreputable indeed. But I am a libertarian. I believe in free speech. He's got every right to spout his shit, just as I have every right to call him out on spouting his shit.
That's true.
And I have been doing in a dedicated manner ever since he started spouting his shit. And indeed, the others, the handful of other people who are the sole source of all this anti-Larry Warren bullshit. So I'm doing a Stephen Molyneux now and repeating bullshit too many times. Need a thesaurus. But generally speaking, this was a really good conference. This was brilliant. Malcolm Robertson, John Ashkoff, Mark Cavell, whatever his name is, the local guy. The Kinsellas I'm familiar with. I didn't hear, but I'm familiar with their talks. All the others had something. Sasha Christie. I know I've got a problem with Sasha Christie. But, I've got really no opinions at all about her childhood abduction experience at all. I don't really care if it's true or not. I've got no reason right now to suppose it's not true. It doesn't really matter. That's not my problem with her, as you know. That was interesting too. There was a guy now who's backing her up in her experience. She was there too. So if that's the case, so be it. My personal opinion of her and our personal relationship has nothing to do with the factual nature of what she's claiming. Favorite speaker? I think I'm going to have to say Malcolm Robinson. The Sawkey poltergeist case and the other things he talked about were really interesting, and he's presented it very, very well. He's got audio and like really neat visuals and stuff. He's worked very hard on his slides.
It's like the Enfield case. I thought the Sawkey case not as famous, but I think it's evidentially very good. CCG says, "Have you ever seen the German film Das Leben der Anderen?" The love of the others. That means, I believe. No, I haven't. Is that any good?
Despite the fact that he's not speaking to me anymore, I don't dislike the guy. I'm not the one who initiated our breakup. He was, and like with Andrew Johnson, you know, I still, just because I've fallen out with him doesn't mean I'm not going to watch what he has to say. I might well get his book actually.
And we have now made up, as I've said.
He's got
not me and Andrew Johnson. Me and Malcolm Robinson.
He's got a new book out. I picked up a flyer for his new book. It's this. So I picked that up. Paranormal Case Files, Great Britain, Volume 1. Yeah, he's probably, that might be an older one actually. Yeah. So that's worth, I think that's certainly worth seeing. I think that's certainly worth reading. His UFO Case Files books of Scotland are very good. They're really, really good. Now, I really, like I said, I reiterate that I don't think the Chris Evers and the other organisers have any.
David, yes, he does.
Malicious intent in this situation. I do believe they really want to create a good conference. That's their main goal. I think they played it the wrong way. In fact, I wouldn't do it the way he's done it. I mean, if there's two warring factions going to a conference, and one of them is saying, let's have a 24-hour truce. Let's just bury the hatchet just so we can enjoy this conference. Just for however long the conference is, 24 hours, 48 hours. Let's just bury the hatchet. I wouldn't be banning that person. I wouldn't want to ban anyone. I'd want to go along with this idea of a temporary truce. After all, we are adults. At the RawCon, I was perfectly civil. Well, I wasn't civil. I just stayed out of the way of Alison Dunlop. There was no disruption at the RawCon, even though Alison and Dunlop were not just both present, we were both on the speakers list. Why can't we do that? Why couldn't we have done that when on the conference I got banned from? Rather than asking me not to attend, why not promote my suggestion? And if the other side's not willing to promote it, then who's the bad? Who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy here? Am I the bad guy still? Am I the one who has to get banned? It's interesting though, because I did do an interview with Tiberius Kirk about this, Tino, and I discussed the email conversation I had with Chris Evers after I bought my ticket to the first conference. And he returned it. He returned the money, and he said, "I'm not sure that good order could be maintained with you there." Okay. Well, let's just look at this conference right now. Okay, what has just happened here in Hull this weekend? A conference has happened that has been a great success. Everything went smoothly. Everyone had a wonderful time, didn't they? They had a wonderful time. Everyone was smiling, everyone was happy. There was no disruption, there was no upheavals, and so everything went well.
Hugo says, "I love the smell of my cannabis." Yes. I think Hugo uses these videos as an excuse, don't you? You need to have a toke, don't you, mate?
So, yes, even though there was a snake in the garden, even though there was a rotten apple.
Well, CG, East German, right, that's about that film we were talking about, that German film. Right you are, mate, the Stasi. The Stasi!
In the barrel, didn't affect the conference. I was there. I was present for the whole weekend, apart from when I nipped out this afternoon. I was there the whole time, and good order was maintained. Now, of course,
I left slightly before the end. I did go back to the final speaker, but I left slightly before the end.
I know this is a one-off. I can't put my disguise on again. I'm going to get rid of. Well, I'll throw most of it away. The sun hat could come in handy. The Coof mask, of course, goes in the bin. Those silly gloves I wore.
I did use the sun hat, if you remember in my heat wave videos. I did some videos. I wore it actually during the heat wave.
In the bin. The walking sticks I'll give to the Salvation Army or something. I'll give them to charity.
I did that, yeah.
If someone who really needs them can use them. So I want you to, all of you, just think about why that. Think about that. It's very important for everyone watching now to think why that was. A conference happened. The guy who was banned, I mean, the first time I was at, Chris told me I was banned. This time he did. No one told me I was banned this time, but I was kind of, the hint was that I kept writing off asking to buy tickets. And 3 times I sent emails asking to buy tickets and I received no reply.
Oh,
I think no one wrote.
Della has missed a lot of it. Della, you can always watch this. The recording will be there.
Me and Sir Ben, we can't allow you to attend. I'm very sorry. And, I'm trying to be nice about it, Ben. I need to tease him. That's what happened the first time. The guy, he was very nice about it. But we can't allow you to attend. I didn't get anything like that. I just got no reply at all. So come think of it, I was never formally banned, was I, anyway? So there we go. So I could always say that.
Behind you in the current bit. Oh, Della, that is David Jones. Yes, he's sitting over my shoulder, isn't he? Which one of these shoulders?
I was essentially because I received no reply. That meant that they weren't going to sell me any tickets. But I bought one anyway. And I attended, and everything was absolutely fine. Absolutely.
David, what's your next field reportage going to be? Well, I'm going to the Basis Project conference. I thought I might make that audio only for the Hapanmo radio rather than video. I haven't decided yet.
Fine. There was zero trouble. Zero. I don't. It's funny.
I made a Nazi symbol, didn't I? Nazis, yes.
Just got to make sure I go through all my notes here. Yeah. In fact, it's been. I should point out it's interesting that. Sorry, I forgot what I was talking about. I forgot what I was bloody talking about. Silly me. Well, yeah. There was good order was maintained. There was no trouble at all. I should point out that this has not been what I expected. This assignment has been very different to what I expected. I've been making plans for a couple of months. I've kept it from everyone except this guy I told you about, Larry Warren's friend. Someone I do trust and I know will keep it quiet. I've been keeping it quiet now. I've been planning this for a couple of months, and I've put in a few diversionary statements on some of my videos saying, "Well, I'm banned. I'm not going." Or, I'm doing a live stream this weekend, things like that, just to put people off the scent. So I've gone to a lot of trouble to arrange for this to be done secretly. When I arrived, the moment I started approaching Hull, I put on my initial disguise, the one I wore from the station to here, so no one would know I was in town. I've basically lived in this room off sandwiches, haven't had a proper meal since Thursday in York. I've got peanuts tonight, actually. Yeah. Dry roast and salted, because I still need to.
Don't worry, Della. David Jones is a really nice guy. I think Della's a bit put off by the appearance of David Jones over my shoulder.
Staying undercover until I leave Hull. So I did it. Went to a lot of effort and I planned it all in advance what I was going to do to remain so no one would know I was in town before I put my disguise on when I go out. I expected it to be sort of funny. I was expecting to have a laugh over all this. And I suppose I have in a way. But as I said last night, I've experienced numerous different emotions relating to what I'm doing here, and it was not what I expected. Things often I find are not what you expect them to be.
69 Phuket, nightmares tonight. Oh, dearie me. Watching this is worse than eating cheese, mate.
And this was not what I expected it to be. As I said,
I had nightmares when I was there. I did. I mean, I had insomnia and I had disturbed sleep, even on a Sunday night.
A lot of you will be asking, well, maybe you felt guilty because you did something wrong. You deceived the organisers of the conference. They wouldn't sell you a ticket, but you turned up anyway in disguise. So it's, you know, you're going to apologise, Ben. You're going to apologise. No, I'm not going to apologise. I'm not sorry for what I did. I mean, feeling guilty is not the same as being sorry. Feeling guilty is an emotion, and you can't control your emotional response to various things. Slaxer made a video about this. You know, the whole don't let it get to you thing. He's right.
Oh, good old Slaxer. He doesn't upload much these days. He hasn't for a couple of months, but he's still around. See how you're living. Was anyone else there wearing face nappies? Oh, I don't think so. I don't think they were. No, don't remember. No.
Like, people's emotional response is something you can't control. Just because I feel guilty doesn't mean that guilt is justified, and it wasn't.
Oh, by the way, Lisa, your podcast will be up later. I've been doing Third Rail, and I've been doing this. But David, if you missed Lisa's show, the Cry Freedom show, it will be up later. Okay. In fact, I've got to go and get something to eat, and then I'll put it up before I go to bed. Okay. So I'll share the link with you, Lisa, when I do that.
But no, I'm not going to apologise. I'm not sorry. And then again, you know, really, what is there to be sorry for? I mean, I think apologies are only valid if there is some damage, loss, or injury done to another.
Yeah.
In this case, no damage, loss, or injury has been done by my deception. So this, in a sense, is
Hello, Gary Robinson. How you doing? Long live David Jones.
a victimless crime.
How you doing, mate?
It's an inconsequential deception. Yeah, if I'd gone in there and started disrupting and trying to be bitchy with people, that would have been consequential. But it wasn't consequential. I just sat there quietly, and I made mental notes. I just wanted, I suppose. I mean, obviously, like I'm not aware of all the psychological.
Oh, Gary says doing good. Great. You just got back from Mexico City. That's brilliant, mate. It must be sort of like early evening where you are. I'm glad you could join us. I know I try to start these live streams at weekdays at 9. It is a public holiday in Britain because of the coronation, but not the whole world. 9 p.m. means that people like you who live in these time zones can join in.
Forces that drove me to do this, I'm not aware of them all. But obviously, I wanted very badly
5 p.m. in Mexico. Right, you are, mate.
To prove that I could go to this conference, which I was banned from, and everything that everyone said would happen wouldn't happen, and it hasn't. I think mission accomplished. I proved my point. I think. Wouldn't you agree? Funny thing is, like, it's interesting. I really didn't expect the thing where no one recognised me, as I said before. Obviously everyone's going to say they recognise me now. In fact, everyone who's there is now posting in the comments section. I knew it was you all along, Ben. I knew it was you. Yes, I did. I didn't say anything. We thought it was just best to let you get on with it and hope for the best, you know. So we didn't challenge you on this, but we all know you were there. Well, if you did, well, that's an unprovable assertion. It's an unfalsifiable assertion. So I can't.
Nobody, and I mean literally nobody, said a word until after I posted my video.
Prove you didn't know I was there. What I can do is say that not once did anyone even give me a suspicious look, and I had my sunglasses on, so I could sort of go like that without people noticing me staring at them. Nobody stared at me. No one looked at me and thought, "Isn't that Ben Emlyn-Jones?" I never once saw that. And I think this is something interesting about the way our recognition system works, human beings, because I think what's obvious is that when we see other people, they're sort of like signifiers that we look for, usually facial features, by which we recognize one another. And once you get those signifiers, it's only then you start noticing other things about a person, such as their stature and build, a certain timbre to their voice, which they can't cover up. So if you don't get those initial primary recognition stimuli in your brain, then the rest of the recognition circuits don't click in. You don't recognize.
What? Stephen Slaxer has deleted his uploads, only got his gaming videos. I'll check that out afterwards. But what? He's deleted all his uploads? Oh, God. I'll check it out, Stephen.
As that person. And clearly nobody did. Nobody did. I really do. I never once got a single strange.
Pinocchio wants his nose back, says David. Yeah. People claiming they knew I was there all along. Yeah. It's an obvious cope.
Look from anyone. Interesting. So I learned. I didn't know that. Probably I've
A very predictable cope, as you can see.
had this myself, where I've seen someone maybe wearing different clothes or with a coof mask on, and I know them, and I didn't say anything because my face was completely covered. So yeah, interesting. Now, I also had a strange. At one point, I was sort of like dozing. This is interesting. Maybe
I've made an entire other video about this, which I'll show you in a minute.
say more about this in another video.
I won't show you the whole video. I'll just show you the page which it's on.
I don't want this one to be too long. I was dozing a little bit at one point, the way I do, in a half-conscious state in conferences, and I suddenly felt something come up my left shoulder, and there was a beautiful young woman there, and she a blonde woman, and she with a white dress, just floating in the sky, and put a hand on my shoulder and smiled, like I can't prove it, but was that an angel? I don't know. Anyway, I don't want this video to be too long. That's a big subject to go into, but it could be I did have maybe that's an angel saying they were watching over me. I don't know. Anyway, everyone, I think I've said all I need to say about this. There'll be another video. The next video will probably be my York one, although I do need to get that comment reply video out of the way, and of course the watch party live stream. But there is the video I made in York with Lily. That's the person you haven't seen that yet. That's coming up soon, if not the next video. That's the end of this particular video. I think I've said everything I need to say about this. Yes, I have. Blah, just going through my notes. I hope you found this entertaining and enlightening and all those other things. I've waited a long time to make this video, and I'm glad I made it. I'm bloody looking forward to uploading it. Thank you for watching Hapanwo TV. Hospital Porters, Pride and Dignity. Stop the New World Order.
There it is, mate. Stephen, yeah, I'll come on to that in a minute, mate. I'm coming on to that. Well, there it is, guys. As a person goes to OLM. I hope you enjoyed that. That was a nice little watch party, wasn't it? Now, I did do a couple of follow-up videos to this. One of them, of course, was this one, which I did the other day. I did this one a couple of days ago. I did that on Friday. A person goes to OLM 1 year on, which is a kind of a comedy one. And there's another one as well, which I'll find for you now. It's this one here. I won't show you the actual video. You can go and watch it, but oops, here we go. An Angel of the Outer Limits, which again you can get on all my platforms. And I did this in June. I did this in June, a month later, which describes basically a bit more details about. There it is on YouTube. You get on all my platforms. Angel of the Outer Limits. There's you get that on all the platforms that I made. This refers to, it's an expansion on what I was telling you about towards the end of the last video, which was, it's some people finding it freaky with David standing over my shoulder. Della did as well. Yes, David. Shh, all right. It's now, obviously, you can go and watch that video. I won't go into details about it now. It's actually getting a bit late now. I need to go to bed. But I had that strange encounter with this. I had this apparition when I was in a semi-conscious state, while I was sitting in the conference auditorium itself. And Stephen there says she was watching over you. Yeah, Stephen and I have discussed privately about this situation, and we even thought we might know who that was. That it was an angelic being who had actually walked on this earth as a living person. But that's a private issue. That's something private Stephen and I discussed. I don't want to go into details now. But anyway, you can go and watch that. An Angel of the Outer Limits. It's it's a 35-minute video. I'm very pleased with this one. I am fascinated by the general idea of angelic encounters. I find them fascinating. And indeed, even demonic encounters, which of course are unpleasant, equivalents of the same things. And yeah. So anyway, guys, does anyone want to add anything more about? I think because I've been monitoring your comments throughout the entire event, I don't really need to really do a lot. But David says here, what's your next movie watch party going to be? It's going to be, it'll either be What Dreams May Come or The Inferno. And as you know, I've already done the introduction, haven't I? Because they're also read parties as well as watch parties. So I do recommend, don't just watch the movie, read the book, because these are books, and yeah, and these are books and a video. That's it. I wear it. Oh, gee, you don't have to tell us that, Rue. You don't have to tell us about that, Hugo. Honestly, you don't. You're spying on us, Ben, says Stephen. I wouldn't dream of it, Stephen. But yeah, that'll be sometime. I have to do it soon. I did say the summer, didn't I? I did say the summer. But anyway, guys, is there anything else anyone wants to add? Because if not, I'm going to call it a night, because it's been a good one, isn't it? All right. CCG says, thanks for the entertaining stream, Ben. You're very welcome, CCG. You're very welcome. I've got to eat something before bed. I'm still a bit hungry. I haven't eaten enough today. Well, thank you. I appreciate you all joining me and watching this. 1 year on. This is not going to be an annual thing. I'm not going to do like a OLM 2 years on thing. I just thought it was an idea about having like a special event just to celebrate this, because I did enjoy making that video so much, and it's so popular. A lot of you like it so much. No, Lisa. Cheers. I'll post the videos. I'll put the podcast up before I go to bed. Oh. 69 Phuket. My PC crashes after Ben live. Well, as long as it's not during that. Gary, sorry I missed the whole stream. We'll watch from the start. Sure, mate. You go ahead, mate. That's cool. It'll be there. Ben, are you thinking of the same person I'm thinking of? Yeah, I am. I do wonder. I mean, there's no way of knowing for sure, Stephen, who it was, but I am. Yes, I am. Hey guys, so that was fun, wasn't it? I enjoyed that. But a big thank you to everyone who's posted in the chat box this evening, who's joined for this little impromptu live stream / watch party. 69 Phuket. Stephen Truthseeker. Who's your guest on Hapanmo Radio this week? Oh, I'll post a notice tomorrow, David. See how we're living. I preferred your new NWO rag. Oh, right. That was funny. That was a joke, wasn't it? Yeah. So, night, 69 Phuket. Night, Stephen. Night, see how we are living. David Splendid Isolation. Gary Robinson. CCG. Hugo Rune. Della Farrant. Who else is here? I don't want to miss anyone out. I feel guilty if I miss people out. I shouldn't feel so guilty all the time. Guys, everyone who has posted, night, Hugo. Yeah, Stephen, tell them to tune in on Tuesday. Yeah, Hugo. I apologise for offending everyone. Sorry. No, you don't, Hugo. No, you don't. Night, Torangan. Night. Thanks very much, all of you. Appreciate that. Appreciate you joining in, guys. Much appreciated. And I will see you soon. Yeah. I'm doing the Hapanmo show on Thursday, of course. Yes. And the gas banner on Sunday. I'll have to do another comments reply video probably this weekend. All right, guys. So take it easy. And that's the end. And yeah. Hope you enjoy the rest of Hapanmo TV, because there'll be other ones just as good as A Person Goes to OLM.